Hi everyone, so in this video what I'd like to talk about is occupational burnout. So this is quite different from work-related stress. So when you're suffering with work-related stress, it means that you are experiencing stress through your role, and that could be for a number of factors, and I've made a video about that which I will link in the description and you can watch that. Occupational burnout is a form of burning out from your role based on the role itself, but also when you get to a point where you are burnt out, it means that you've gone past the level of stress. It is literally like being in severe stress and not being able to continue with your job. So there's a thing in fostering, because I'm a social worker, where we used to use this term called compassion fatigue. And in social work, how we would describe that is where you would lose your compassion because you would just be so tired of listening to, either through social workers having to listen to all the families that they were working with, but in fostering it was because foster parents who just struggled with the trauma of listening to the child talk about their trauma, listening to the trauma when people were at meetings. So compassion fatigue is where a foster carer literally can't feel any compassion, can't feel any empathy, and it's not done intentionally. It's just that it's like a block. There is training on it. So occupational burnout is a similar thing where you just reach a wall. So it really means when you've just come to the end emotionally, you've come to the end physically, and it can occur in roles where they're quite intense. So this can happen to people if you're in roles that are physically demanding. So you're asked to do quite a lot of physical manual work. It can happen in roles where they're emotionally demanding. So occupational burnout occurs a lot for nurses, with the police service, social work, counsellors. What else? There's probably loads of different roles, even people call centres, but it will depend on kind of the call centre they're working in. It depends on, there's lots of factors that come into it, but the key thing to think about is that it's not something you have control over when it happens. So I've heard lots of stories over the years where people have just become burnt out, where they've worked themselves to a point where they've just collapsed one day, or they've just been so tired that they can't get out of bed, and then they've actually been diagnosed then with ME or MS, or it's because the intensity of how they've been working for a lot of ways. Now I can say that even myself, I know that I work really, really hard, and that lots of people over the years have said to me, you need to slow down, you need to focus on taking less clients, or you need to say no sometimes. And it is difficult. I have had to learn to say no sometimes when I've been receiving lots of referrals, when I've been receiving lots of offers of doing work and stuff. But it is hard if you are in that mindset, and that's why occupational burnout, you can predict if that's something that is likely to happen to you, and you can do something about it. So the other thing about it is that your body stops. Now we have to just be honest about the fact that we're in control of our mind and our body, but also sometimes our body will stop us before we can do anything about it. So for those people I've just mentioned, where they were just going along doing what they're doing, and then all of a sudden they've just become really fatigued, and then they were diagnosed with ME or some other type of illness or disorder, that was because they just kept pushing themselves. We have warning signs. It's like when you're driving your car, if the warning light comes on, say you need petrol, or there's another light that comes on, you take it to the garage. Most people do. Some people don't, they keep going. But your body's the same. Your body will give you indicators. There will be some sort of thing that you'll start to realise, do you know what, I'm getting heart palpitations, or I'm getting headaches, or my focus is blurry because I'm spending too much time looking at the screen, or I'm feeling more tired, aches and pains. Those are the things not to ignore, because that is one way that you can prevent, from you getting to burnout. So it can occur due to long working hours. It can occur because of a stressful lifestyle, and it might be that you're living a stressful lifestyle outside of work, so your personal life is very stressful, but then you're also in a role that is very stressful as well. And that's another thing, people don't always take that into account. So there are people that work really stressful roles, and then they say, because my job is so stressful, I'm going to just, work hard, play hard, I'm going to go out partying, I want to make the most of the weekend. But what they're not realising is the stress levels that you're putting in the week. And if you're doing like a 12-hour, 15-hour day, and then at the weekend you are just going out and then doing a 10-hour like bender, where are you getting the rest? Where are you getting the time to like recuperate? So you're trying to make up for your stressful week by having a stressful weekend, not stressful, but intense weekend. So then you don't end up having any time to rest. So people like that are very, susceptible to occupational burnout. So the key is to identify that you're on the verge of reaching burnout before you get there, and then to put actions in place and maintain them. One of my key things is Sundays I don't work. And do you know what, even though that sounds normal to a lot of people, I did used to work I have worked 7 days a week. It has happened before where I've just gone from appointment to appointment. I've volunteered to do extra shifts on a Sunday. In fact, in the role I'm doing at the moment, occasionally I might need to do like a 3-hour, 2-hour Sunday shift on the telephone helplines. But majority of the time, Sundays is either spent with my family or it's just resting. Saturdays, I've even cut down on the amount of Saturdays I do. So I've had to recognise that although I wasn't feeling like I'm going to burn out, I can't work at that intensity because we're not robots, we're human. So it's putting actions in place and maintaining them. Be strict. Say no to people. People can always. There's counsellor. I'm a supervisor as well, so I supervise counsellors. Some counsellors will say to me, "I don't want to say no because I feel sorry that person has chosen me, and I don't want them to be on the waiting list." And I say, "Well, they've chosen you, but you've got your own caseload. If you say no to this person, they're not just going to sit at home and cry. They're going to go to find someone else. You don't have to say yes to everyone, but also by you saying yes to other people and your caseload increasing, it can then impact on the quality of your work." So it is just being quite assertive sometimes and looking after yourself. And the other thing is to ask for help. There's times where things are becoming too much, and this is workload, but also maybe in your personal life. Speak to your managers. People are fearful sometimes of going to their manager and saying, "Can I reduce my hours? Can I work in a different department? I'm struggling here with this role. Can I do less responsibilities?" The worst thing that can happen is they can say no. But you don't have to be fearful of how you're going to look. They've hired you. You've proven yourself. You don't need to think they're going to think I'm weak. They're going to think I'm incompetent, because the worst case scenario would be that you end up being burnt out and have to leave anyway, or you have to take sick time off work. So never feel afraid to knock on the door of your boss and just say, "Do you know what? This is what I need." So I think burnout is common in lots of roles, but I don't think it has to be. We're all aware of our own limitations. We're all aware of the signals, as I've said, with our body, the signals in other areas. We know when this is coming. We know when we're doing too much, but I think we just push ourselves through it. So I think because you don't want to get to an outcome where you are burnt out, just take action before it happens. And I hope you found this video useful. If you have, please feel free to like, to share it, because other people might find it interesting, and also subscribe to my channel if you would like to see more videos like this. Thanks for watching. Bye.